Hello and welcome to the new style GCSEs. These are the ones that go from grades 9 through to 1. This is Edexcel paper 1MA1/3F. It's the third paper in the foundation tier. It is a calculator paper and we're picking up in question 11. Here is a list of 5 numbers. From the list, write down the prime number. Okay, so if you've memorized your prime numbers, and I do recommend that you do memorize your prime numbers, then you just spot it straight away on the list. It's 17 and you move on to the next question. Write down the square number. Again, if you memorize your square numbers, it's just 16. You move on. You saved yourself a lot of time because it doesn't take very long to do that, and you just saved yourself time. And in an exam, time means marks. So that's very advantageous to have memorized your prime number and square numbers before you go into an exam. However, don't panic if you haven't. If you haven't memorized your prime numbers and square numbers, you can still work it out if you just know your times tables. If you know your times tables and you know the definition of a prime number is a number that is only divisible by itself and 1. It has exactly 2 factors, itself and 1. So that means any even number bigger than 2 cannot possibly be a prime number. 14, 16 and 18 are even numbers, so you can rule them out. So you're left with a choice of either 15 and 17. And right there and then, if you just guess, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. If you know your 5 times tables, you know that all numbers on your 5 times table end in either a 5 or a 0. And since 15 ends in a 5, it's divisible by 5 and therefore not a prime number. So your answer is 17. Okay, write down the square number. If you know your times tables, you can just say, well, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. Hello, there's our answer. And it's as simple as that. If not, you can use a calculator, and what you can do is move through these numbers and simply find the square root on the calculator, and if it comes out to a whole number, then you know you've found your square number. If it's got a decimal point and a load of numbers after it, you know it's not a square number. So we know 14 is not a square number. We type 15 and then we find our square root, which is why it's such a good idea to know your calculator before you go in an exam. And again, that's not a square number. We type 16, we find the square root, and there's our square number. So our number is 16. So what I'm trying to say is knowing your prime numbers and your square numbers gives you an advantage, but it's not such a big deal. You can survive even if you don't know them in this question, but it's still much better to know them. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.